13.8 billion years ago, our universe was just too small and too tiny, which was known as singularity, and it was too hot and it has infinite amount of gravitational force. On that time, that universe was just 1,000 times smaller than a pinhead. So because of its massive own gravitational force, it just collapsed itself and formed a universe. So this explosion is known as Big Bang. And there is second theory which states that this was a matter. So we are all just made up of it, and an antimatter which is opposite to the matter. This antimatter is just totally different, and it is also explosive when these two shits just meet each other. So long ago, what happened is that this singularity which I just mentioned now was just met with a small amount of antimatter and gave a big burst, which causes a big bang and a formation of this universe. So this is a second theory of birth of a universe. But have you just imagined how this universe is gonna end? Now just imagine these two objects as a planet or a galaxy, and this rubber band which is just tied within these two objects is a gravitational force between these two objects, and the force which is pulling the objects to move away from each other, which is known as a dark matter. So this dark matter is just pulling these two objects. At a certain point, the rubber band or the gravitational force between these two objects will be torn off, so the two objects will be just keep on moving to the deep and silent space forever. So this thing is known as big freeze. Why do the name as a big freeze is that this object is just moving forever, so the temperature of the universe drops down to the sub-zero level, where there will be no formation of any creatures. So this theory is known as big freeze. Just imagine what if happened if the gravitational force between these two objects is just higher. So when it just got higher than the dark matter energy, dark matter will be pulling off this object as far as it can, but at a certain point these two objects collide due to its own gravitational force, which is more massive than their dark matter energy. So it causes all the mass and all the particles in the universe will be collided to a single point, which is known as singularity, and this point will be more massive and have a massive gravitational force to the amount of infinite, and due to its infinite amount of gravitation, it collides itself and forms a new universe. So this is known as big crunch. But what will happen to our universe? Either it will go to the big freeze or it will go to the big crunch. But the scientists saying that there is a probability of happening big freeze. Why big freeze is that our universe gravitational force is less than the gravitational force of the dark matter. The thing is, how do they measure is that if the amount of dark matter is more than the amount of gravitational force in the universe, then it causes the big freeze. If the amount of gravitational force on the universe is just much larger than the gravitational force of dark matter, then it causes the big crunch and big bounce, obviously. So thankfully this 2020 the universe is not gonna end, and this universe is gonna survive for trillions of years. Wait a minute, when I said that the universe is just born by a clashing of antimatter to a matter, what will just happen if another universe which has a greater amount of antimatter and clashes with a minimum amount of matter, which leads to an antimatter universe? So how do they look? Is it really possible